So Andre, looking forward to this one. It's youth intake day today. Have you got a good intake for us? Andre, I think you're on mute. I mean, come on mate, seriously, I'm asking you a big question about the series right now. Is there going to be a good youth intake? I mean, what does the silence mean? Silence could be, I'm not saying anything because it's rubbish, or it could be, I'm not saying anything because it's really, really good. Which one is it, Andre? Right, we'll just carry on playing the game until we find out then. Thanks for nothing. Hello and welcome back to the Wrexham Way. Hope you're all doing well and looking forward to today's episode. We take on Gillingham and Bolton in League 2 this season. It's also March, and towards the end of March we should be getting the youth intake as well, so look forward to that one later on in the episode. Fingers crossed it's going to be a good one. But potentially the biggest thing to happen in today's episode is we might actually be guaranteeing ourselves promotion today, depending on how our results go and other results go too. So if you're looking forward to that, make sure you do drop a like on the video for me, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and leave a comment down below for the YouTube algorithm. Another thing that I think is really quite interesting actually is that Gillingham's manager is Emma Hayes, which I think is really cool. She was also manager of Tranmere briefly before going to Gillingham instead, which makes a lot of sense because Gillingham is much better than Tranmere. Although not much better, you know, they're both pretty terrible places. But I do think it's really cool that she's in the game and gets jobs, and I think in real life she will be getting a men's job at some point in the future because I think she is a really good manager. Anyway, moving on, since you guys were last here, we have played quite a few games actually to get to this point. Obviously, we lost to Leeds and we drew with Newport County, so not brilliant, and in between episodes has, well, not been that great to be fair either. We did get a win against Walsall 2-0 and a win against Rochdale 1-0, so good results there. But then we went on another 3 games in a row without winning. 0-0 with Forest Green, a 1-0 loss to Carlisle, and a 1-0 loss to Leyton Orient, which obviously is not quite ideal for us. No one scoring goals particularly, and it was getting very nervy because Paul Mullen was not scoring. In fact, none of our strikers were scoring goals, but Paul Mullen in particular hadn't scored since the Bromley game. Finally got to scoring ways against Scunthorpe as we beat them 3-0 away from home. And then he grabbed himself another brace in a 4-1 win against Cambridge United last time out. But that does also mean that George Alexander's not scored since Crawley Town, and Shamanga's not scored since the Bromley game as well, so our strikers are not really in great form right now. But it shouldn't matter too much because if we look at the league table, we are still top as things stand by a good long way ahead of Forest Green still. Like, they could maybe pip us to the title by the end of the season, but we do have a game in hand on them right now. And if we look down to Leyton Orient, who are 18 points behind us, not long left to go this season, I'd like to think that if results go in our favour, we could be winning, but we're not winning the league title, but getting promoted today, which is pretty cool. One thing that I do think is interesting, though, is that this season has maybe been quite lucky for us due to our lack of draws. I mean, Forest Green have lost less games than us. They've lost 4 games compared to our 5. They've just drawn 13 as opposed to our 7. And it's very similar as well for Leyton Orient and Walsall. They've only lost 7 games each, and that's only 2 more than we've lost this season. It's just that they love drawing games, whereas we managed to get the wins in those other games. So really, I feel like we have been pretty lucky overall. Also, very lucky that Forest Green fell out of form at the exact same time as us. We lost 3 games in a row, didn't win for 3 games in a row, twice in pretty quick succession. At the same time, Forest Green could not get a win either way. They kept drawing or losing and stuff like that. So they were unable to overtake us and capitalise on our poor form. But also looks like they're struggling to score goals as well because they are either winning 1-0, drawing 1-1, or not scoring a goal in the game at all at the moment. But let's not waste any more time. Let's dive into this game against Gillingham, and this is the team that I think is going to take them on today. We've got Johns stays in goal with a backline of Kofi Balmer, Oliver Street and Aaron Hayden in that backline because of a slight fitness issue with Harry Lennon right now. Not really best to play him. Medford Smith and Bradley play in the wing-back roles today with Drinkwater and Jones just in front. Carney plays in the attacking midfield with Alexander and Shamanga leading the line today because where is he? Paul Mullen also struggling for fitness just a little bit. But kickoff is upon us, and hopefully we're going to beat Emma Hayes' Gillingham here today at home, and in doing so may put us one step closer towards promotion. Hopefully they decide to start playing well today because, as I say, between episodes has not been brilliant against some teams that aren't actually that fantastic. We lost to Carlisle, who are 9th. I guess they're fairly decent in League 2. Who else did we lose to? I feel like it was someone quite far down the table, but I can't quite place who it would be, if I'm honest with you. I'll just move the table down a little bit. As you can see, Bromley, bottom of the table. Gillingham today are currently right on the edge of the playoffs, so they are going to be trying to win this game to get themselves cemented in the playoffs for a chance to win promotion to League One. But they're not going to do it with Kofi Balmer waiting for James Jones's corner to meet his noggin. 1-0 up after 35 minutes. The opening highlights of the game, so clearly not too much going on. But it's another beautiful set piece, worked very well for us there, and Kofi Balmer poised and placed perfectly to score that one for his 7th of the season. And as we approach half-time, we are dominating 11 shots to 3 shots, but clearly none of these shots are resulting in highlights, and that's what it's been a bit like, really, in between episodes. We just haven't been playing particularly well, and our striker's not really scoring goals. Obviously, Paul Mullen's got 4 goals in his last 2, but in his previous 10, it's only like 6 goals and 10 or something like that. And neither striker really having much of an impact today. I think it says Shamanga's on a 7 and Alexander on a 6.9. Like, they're doing stuff, but not really much stuff. But hopefully we'll see something from this highlight if we can win the ball at the back. Drinkwater does do that. Into Medford Smith, into Carney, over the top to Shamanga, who just does that a lot at the moment. Just kicks it straight at the keeper. I think I did see this on Facebook the other day. Now, bear in mind this is Facebook, so it's a load of rubbish anyway. But it's one of the Lincoln City fan pages, and I'm sure someone put a picture in there of Shamanga potentially being linked with Lincoln City in real life, which I'd love it in real life because he's very good in real life. Football Manager right now, he's letting us down a little bit. But I'm not entirely sure he's quite League One level in real life just yet. But you never know, Lincoln can't really score in real life right now, so we'll take anyone, I suppose. But this game, really not an awful lot happening in it whatsoever. It's gone by very quickly, so quick in fact, I've not even made any substitutes in the 88th minute right now. But Shamanga with another chance to finally score a goal, and he does, his 15th of the season, which for a bench player, I think he's actually pretty impressive. It's just unlucky that he's got Paul Mullen and George Alexander in front of him, who are 2 very, very good strikers. But Shamanga is right up there with one of the top scorers in the league this season. And this one is finally a very well taken goal. So Wrexham 2, Gillingham 0. Fantastic stuff. A great way to start off today's episode. An extra 3 points on the board. Well played, lads. Very good. And so we've got 9 days off now until the next game, which is interesting, as we have to pay we've got to pay Chesterfield £16,000 for him scoring 10 league goals now, Shamanga. That's fair enough. Also, Oliver Street on fine form. You love to see it. One of our young players coming through, doing very well for himself. Already at League 2 standard. He started, I think, at like National League North and South, so he's done very well to develop very quickly, and hopefully in League 1 next season. We've not quite been promoted yet, but I'd like to think he could do a good job there too. So there's 8 games left this season, a maximum of 24 points available. We are currently, only 20 points ahead of Walsall. They must have played at the same time, did they, and got a draw? So maybe we won't win promotion today, because with 7 games to go, that'd be 21 points, and that'd still be 20 points at a maximum. No, it wouldn't. It'd be 23 points at a maximum if we win and Walsall. Okay, so we could still get promotion today. I'm also currently addicted to falafel. It's so good. Aldi, if you want to sponsor me, I'd love it. So good, this stuff. It's also really good to see a lot of our young players being called up for international duty too. And Chris Johns to Northern Ireland. He has yet to make a senior appearance, but hopefully he will do at some point soon. Side-Eye Evans called up to Wales under-18s. That's very good for his future. I think what we need to do is probably make a bit more of a concerted effort to sign Welsh players in the future. Like, we only have 1 in the first team. And that's a lie, because Conor Bradley's not Welsh, he's Northern Irish. So we've got zero Welsh players in the first team. But we do have 3 Northern Irish players. And Kofi Balmer has played for the national team recently. He's not been called up this time around. Chris Johns is in there. And Conor Bradley has been in the national team, senior team. So technically we have 3 Northern Irish internationals in our team. Just no Welsh ones. Okay, so Bolton are up next. They are another team who are chasing promotion, at least via the playoffs. Maybe not quite automatic promotion now, but they are looking for playoff places. 7th place right now, so they could easily do it. I think we make 2 changes to the lineup. Bryce Hosanna comes back on, and Kofi Balmer comes off for Harry Lennon. Mullin, a 3rd change, will come on for George Alexander. Let's keep Shamanga playing. He scored a goal last game, so let's see what he can do. The rest of the team looks good to me. Submit it, go to the game, should be good. Now, this time around, we are away from home against Bolton, so this could be a little tougher than Gillingham, but I still think we should have enough about us to be beating them today. Of course, beating them today will do great stuff for us if we want to try and get promoted in today's episode. So what we need is, I think Salford have just started winning their game, so that's why they've jumped up the table a little bit, but I think also Leyton Orient may have just jumped up a little bit. Basically, if we win and teams in the playoffs don't win, then we should be getting promoted today, I think. But it's basically a formality now. And I imagine the title might also end up being a formality too, which is a little interesting. But we've played well this season. As I say, maybe a little bit more luck involved than potentially you might think, given how many games other teams like Forest Green and Walsall, and was it Leyton Orient too, who drew quite a lot of games compared to us? I think there's a lot of luck involved. But as we approach half-time here, we're not doing a great job. One highlight so far. Not many highlights in today's episode whatsoever. Just clearly our players are not maybe going forward very well. We might have to maybe check a few things like squad management and dynamics and stuff, because I'm not quite sure why we're just not really taking our chances as much as we used to. But still, a long throw into the box has been cleared by Dixon as far as Bryce Hosanna, who shoots from distance, and if he just kept that down a little bit, that would have been a spectacular goal. As a corner is swung in by James Jones. Hayden at the near post puts that one over the bar. We're getting closer and closer. And today I need to remember to make changes. Shimanga's had a poor game, so Alexander on you come. Swap him and Mullen over. Danny Drinkwater having a poor game. Kieran Wallace on you come. And Carney also poor game, but I'll leave him on 4 now because he is quite good. Hosanna with a long throw from his near side, flicked on by Shimanga, well, headed back to Hosanna by Shimanga. Over to Medford Smith, who scores a fantastic header. Not many goals for Medford Smith this season, only his 4th of the campaign, but that one is a great header across goal. It's actually pretty well worked. Now, does Shimanga get his head on this one? Or I'm not sure who gets the head on it, the defender or Shimanga. Either way, it goes to Hosanna, who gets the assist for Medford Smith, who's left completely unmarked. And so, let's confirm tactical changes. Yes, please. As it stands then, I don't think we're going to be guaranteed promotion just yet, because Bradford City are 3-0 up against Bromley, so they're not going to lose that game or draw it. So not quite guaranteed promotion yet. We need one more point to guarantee ourselves promotion, but I think that being a fact means we have guaranteed ourselves promotion. And with about 10 minutes or so to go in this game with added time included, I think we might have just about done enough. Our defensive players and midfield all doing fantastic. It's the attacking trio that just weren't doing very well today, and maybe we've been a little bit lucky with the results. I mean, the match stats are heavily in our favour, but Carney, Drinkwater, Shimanga, Mullin, and coming off the bench, George Alexander 6'5", attacking-wise, we're not doing great at the moment. But I think this is the hallmark of champions. Our attack is not doing particularly well, but we're still winning games. And so with those 2 games done, it's 14 days, 2 weeks until our next game against Exeter. We won't do that one on camera, but we are waiting for the youth intake to come through, which should be any day by now. I just hope Andre's brought through a good bunch of, I don't know, 5-star potential players. I'm not asking for much. Ipswich almost beat Man City in the FA Cup quarter-final as well. That's pretty good going from them to take them all the way to extra time. And oh my God, I've just seen, they scored them a 93rd minute, Man City, and then win in extra time. Poor old Ipswich, who are a League One team right now, actually, which is pretty good for them. Come on, Lincoln City have got themselves out of the relegation zone. You love to see it. I mean, we're pretty much guaranteed promotion now. I really want to get promoted to be able to play Lincoln City next season. Please don't get relegated, Lincoln. I mean, you already know that both those games are going to be on an episode next season. But Ben Tozer, out for 6 to 7 weeks with damaged knee cartilage. That might be him out for the rest of the season, but he hasn't really played much this season. 11 games, and by looks of things, 4 of them were off the bench. I'd be tempted to sell him over summer, you know. Especially if we get a really good centre-back coming through the youth intake. But it's not come through yet, so I don't know. Oh, literally, as I say that, here it is. And one of the elite talents is a centre-back. Okay, oh. Now, this youth intake is looking quite good, you know. Not quite 5-star, but 3 players there with 4.5 stars of potential, which I think is pretty good going. We'll look through these top 3 to start off with. Tony Dodd, a centre mid who is fairly ambitious, got a good right foot, 14 passing already. I tell you what, I like this guy. Like, where it matters right now, he is very good. The passing, the technique, the first touch, the teamwork, the determination. I like it. Obviously, the mentals could improve, but he's only 15 years old. They will improve massively. Physicals maybe let him down a little bit, if I'm honest with you. But again, he's only 15 years old. He can get better. You know what? I think he could be a really good player in the future. I don't know why I've looked in history. There's no history at all. I'm not quite sure what I'm looking for there. Darnell Windsor is that centre-back who's only 5'10". That's a little disappointing. But there's no reason why we couldn't retrain him to be a ball-winning midfielder, because he's got good tackling, good teamwork, very good bravery. Marking's decent. In fact, I'll tell you what, I might just retrain him as a ball winner instead. I think he might be better as a ball winner than a centre-back, particularly at 5'10" with 11 jumping reach, 10 heading. I think he might be better in that CDM role, which is kind of a role I want to move into a little bit going forward, potentially. So maybe this guy could fill that gap. So yeah, I think a ball winner or like an anchor man would be really, really good for him. Like if we select anchor, yeah, like he'd be quite a decent anchor. If these mentals got better, which they will do, he's 15 years old, I like it. And then Callum Reese is a winger. Apparently on the right-hand side, but he's got full green on the left-hand side because he has got a right foot, so he can play inside forward on that side, winger on the other side. Very good dribbling at 15. That's really good to see. Decent physicals as well. Obviously, I think he's maybe the weakest of the 2 or 3 that we've seen so far. And he likes to cut inside from the left wing. I reckon get his finishing up. Dribbling's already pretty decent. Pace, long shots, get them up a bit. Inside forward, this guy could be pretty good, you know. Also, professional personality, which you love to see. Tell you what, I think that's pretty decent. I think that's pretty decent. If we just have a quick look at the overview at all, we can see that we've got some good top talents as well. A goalkeeper, a striker, a right winger, which is good to see. And then we get the rubbish players down here, which probably won't do much in the future, to be fair. Like this guy, I'm not going to try and say his first name, but Williams. Looks like he could be a pretty decent keeper. Maybe a future number 1. Kieran Pattinson is that striker. He's a pressing forward though. His finishing is 6. He's not looking brilliant. Fickle personality too. This could be the first real dud that we've seen so far. That's a bit of a shame. And then Sam Friel is a right-sided midfielder. So we could have a great right winger in Sam Friel, and the other guy could be that left inside forward. Pace 14 is good. Get the crossing and dribbling up. I tell you what, it's a decent youth intake. And of course, I'll be putting this up on Patreon soon. So if you guys want to get involved in the Patreon or YouTube memberships, of course, to get a player renamed after you, I'll put a link down in the description for you guys to check that one out. And so that is going to bring us to the end of today's episode. Next time out, we will be back for probably Barrow and Bradford City, although there's quite a big gap in between those 2 games. I feel like maybe because we pretty much know we've been promoted, right? We maybe just come back to the Bradford game on the final day of the season, and then we do a little bit more of an in-depth review on the players this season and how we've done this season. So thank you very much for watching today. Hope you guys have enjoyed it, and of course, if you have done, make sure you do drop a like on the video for me, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and leave a comment down below for the YouTube algorithm. Until next time, have a good one. See you soon. Goodbye.